Hi students, good morning. So this is Farindra. I am lecturer in physics in Vignan institutions. So let us start a new topic, that is magnetism and matter. So in the last chapter, that is moving charges and magnetism, we have discussed how magnetic field is generated around a current carrying conductor and what are the properties of that magnetic field and how it is behaves. So in this chapter of magnetism and matter, so what is meant by natural magnet, what is artificial magnet, and the properties of magnetism. So the magnetism itself says it is a study of properties of the magnet. So let us go in detailed explanation of magnetism and matter. So the main contents of this chapter are, so introduction to magnetism and matter, what is meant by bar magnet, what is magnetism and what is Gauss law in magnetism, the Earth's magnetism, and magnetization and magnetic intensity, magnetic properties of the materials, and permanent magnet and electromagnets. What are the permanent magnets and what are the electromagnets? So these are the contents that we will discuss throughout our chapter. So let's go to the introduction of this chapter, the magnetism and matter. So where we came across magnet. So magnetism, what is meant by magnetism? Magnetism is nothing but study of properties of the magnet. Magnetism is study of properties of magnets. Study of properties of magnets itself is called as magnetism. So this magnetism, the word magnet came from an island on Greece which is called as Magnesia. So it is an island on Greece. The word magnet come from this word Magnesia, which is an island on Greece. So on this island, the shipyards observed that their shoes, their wooden shoes, which have nails in the wooden shoes, when they are walking on that island, they are unable to move. And also the rods which has iron strips over it shows unusual behavior. So because on that island, an iron ore called magnetite. Chemical formula is Fe3O4 is found due to that iron ore called magnetite, which has a property to attract the materials. So magnet, from our childhood we came across to know that the magnet can attract the other materials just like iron, nickel, steel, cobalt, etc. So from the island across 400 BC, they came to know in the island of Magnesia, due to the iron ore present in that island, that is magnetite, the small pieces of iron or the nails in the wooden shoes or the strip in a rod, wooden rod, iron strip in a wooden rod are attracted to the ground. So because of this iron ore magnetite, which has a property to attract the other objects. Similarly, this iron ore, later the Chinese came to know that when the iron ore, this iron ore is freely suspended, when this iron ore is freely suspended, it itself aligned to the north-south direction. From this, they call this iron ore as lead stone. Lead stone. So the Chinese and the other European countries use this iron ore material which we call it as magnets, to show the direction in the overseas. So for their navigation purpose, they use it as for navigation purpose. So they call it as lead stone or leading stone. So this iron ore material, we call it as natural magnet. The iron ore material which has a property to attract these other objects, magnetic objects or magnetic materials, are called as natural magnets. So their shape and size is irregular and the magnetic property of this natural magnet is very low. So due to the shape and size and the low magnetivity, we normally came across, so we do not use on day-to-day life these natural magnets. But in today's, so we can observe magnets everywhere, in ATM cards, in a radio, in our cell phone, in a motor, etc. So on all these we use artificial magnets. Artificial magnets. The artificial magnets are generated or that are developed by rubbing the magnetic materials over this natural magnet, or by passing a direct current through the materials we can generate or we can develop these artificial magnets. So these artificial magnets, convenience of our usage, these artificial magnets can be developed in any shape, and the strength of these artificial magnets is also more. So all the magnets we came across in our day-to-day life are called artificial magnets. Only the naturally occurring iron ore materials are called natural magnets. Due to their irregular shape and size, and they have less strength to attract other materials, we go for artificial magnets. So let us see how the shapes of artificial magnets can be developed. So these are the some artificial magnets that we have generated, such as a bar magnet and a horseshoe magnet or U-shaped magnet, and the below one is, that is a magnetic needle. So as the convenience of ours or the usage of the magnets, we can generate the magnet into required shapes. Similarly, the earth itself acts as a magnet, where the magnetic field is from south pole to north pole. So due to the earth's magnetism only, the human evolution takes place. So this is the basic introduction of the magnets, which we have studied about what is natural magnet and what is meant by magnetism, which is nothing but the study of properties of the magnet, and how this magnet, the word magnets, came from, what are the natural magnets, what is meant by artificial magnets, and what are the different types of artificial magnets that we will study in our later cases. Okay, now let us go, what are the basic properties of the magnets that we have already studied. So we have already came across the basic properties of the magnet from our childhood. So let us once again recall what are the basic properties of the magnets. So the basic properties of the magnets. So whenever a magnet come across our mind, so what is the first thing we came to know? It will attract. So first basic property is, so the first one is attractive property. Attractive property. So from our childhood we came across that whenever a magnet is placed at one point, and if we take another magnet or unmagnetized substance, or such as iron, cobalt, steel, nickel, etc. So we came to know that all these substances can be easily attracted to the magnets. Though that is the attractive property of the magnet. It can attract another magnet or some magnetic substances like nickel, cobalt, steel, iron, etc. So whenever if some pieces of the iron fillings are poured on the magnet, we can observe like this. So consider a bar magnet. Whenever we place some iron fillings around these magnets, the what we will know, all the iron fillings, the small pieces of the iron will attract it towards the magnet. So if you observe, the at the ends of the magnet, most of the iron fillings are attracted. At the ends of the magnet, most of the iron fillings are attracted like this. So you can observe here, most of the iron fillings are attracted at the ends of the bar magnet, leaving the middle zone empty. So the points where maximum iron fillings are attracted are called poles. So these two are called poles. This is one pole, this is another pole. And the region where the iron fillings are not attracted are called neutral zone. Neutral zone. So from this we can know that a magnet has two poles. So where the iron fillings are mostly attracted is called pole, and where the iron fillings are lessly attracted or not attracted are called neutral zone. So this is the first property. And the second property, the second basic property that we will know from our childhood notes is directive property. Directive property. What is meant by directive property? Whenever a magnet is suspended freely, it itself aligns to the north-south direction. So if you suspend a magnet by use of a thread freely, then the magnet itself align to the geometrical north-south directions. So if you suspended a bar magnet like this, then it itself aligns to the north-south direction. So the pole, as we know from the first point, we know there are two poles. The pole which is attracted towards the north, if it is the north side direction, then the pole is called north pole. North pole. And the pole which is attracted towards the geometric south of the earth is called south pole. So you can observe in that figure. In that figure, when a magnetic needle is suspended, it itself aligns to the geographic north to the south. So the pole which aligns to the geographic north is called north pole, and the pole which aligns to the geographic south is called south pole. Okay, so these are the some basic properties. Let us go to another property, another basic property. So which is, so we came to know that when two magnets are placed each other, so at one side they both are attracted and another side they are repel each other. So from our childhood days we came to know this, which means the like poles here, like poles repel each other, like poles repel each other. That means north pole repel each other. So they threw the north pole outside. Similarly, south pole also repel each other. So another law is, unlike poles attract each other. Like poles repel each other and unlike poles attract each other. Like poles means north pole. When you consider two bar magnets, So when we put north pole, then they repel each other. North pole, south pole, they repel each other. If we came to north pole to south pole, they attract each other. South to north, they attract each other. So unlike poles attract, like poles repel each other. Okay. Next law of this magnet is basic law. If we cut the bar magnet, so if we consider a bar magnet like this, which has two poles, we came from the directive property. One is the north pole and another is the south pole. So remember one thing, these poles are located near the end of the magnet but not at the end of the magnet. It will located near the end but not at the end of the magnet. So this is the bar magnet. If we cut the bar magnet into two pieces like this, so then there exists two poles for each of the magnets. So if we cut only north pole one side, only south pole one side, it cannot exist. So if we cut the bar magnet into two pieces, then both the pieces will acquire both the poles, that is north pole and the south pole. Okay, therefore one important property of the magnet is monopoles. Monopoles does not exist. So in case of the magnets, monopoles does not exist. That means if you cut a magnet into two pieces or n number of pieces, then each piece has both the north pole and south pole. So if you observe this north pole and south pole from charges and fields chapter, we came across electric dipole. What is meant by electric dipole? Two equal opposite charges separated by a small distance. There, two charges can be separated. Positive charge and negative charge can be separated. So, single charge can be occurred. But here, monopoles does not exist. Monopoles does not exist. And next property is inductive property. Inductive property. What is meant by inductive property? So, if you consider a magnet and a unmagnetized substance, if you rub the unmagnetized substance over the magnet, then this unmagnetized substance can have some magnetic property. Okay, if you consider an unmagnetized substance and a magnet, artificial magnet, if you rub this unmagnetized substance over the magnet, then the unmagnetized substance can get some of the magnetic properties. Just like when a charge is rubbed with a uncharged or neutrally charged material, when you rub over positive charged or negative charged material with a uncharged material, then this uncharged material also get some of the charge. Similarly, the inductive property says that when an uncharged or unmagnetized substance is rubbed over a magnetic substance, then this unmagnetized substance also get some magnetic property. Okay, so and how to test whether the pole is north pole or south pole? How to test whether the pole is north pole or south pole? Here we came across attraction and repulsion. So the two poles, if they are unlike poles, they attract each other, and if they are like poles, then they repel each other. So to know whether the pole of the magnet is north pole or south pole, so repulsion is the sure test. Is sure test for identification. For identification of pole. Repulsion is the sure test for the identification of pole. Why repulsion is the sure test for the identification of the pole? Because a magnet or a pole can attract the opposite pole or unmagnetized substance. But a pole can repel only same pole. A north pole can repel only the north pole. A south pole can be repel only the south pole. But if we consider the north pole, it can attract south pole as well as unmagnetized substance. So to know whether it is a pole or an unmagnetized substance or which type of pole, repulsion is the sure test for the identification of the pole. So these are the some basic properties that we know from our childhood. So, but we know that it can attract some magnetic materials, and when it is suspended freely, it is aligned itself to the north-south pole directions. And also we came across that the if we consider two magnets at one point they attract each other. If we reverse the directions, it will repel each other. So all these points we came across from our childhood days. So these are the some basic properties of the bar magnet. Now let us study what is a bar magnet and another some more important properties of the bar magnet. So now let us study what is meant by bar magnet. So what are the properties regarding the bar magnet or a magnet itself? Let us study about what is meant by magnet. Some of the properties rather than the basic properties that we have studied earlier. Let us study what is the some more properties of the magnet. So if you consider a bar magnet, so this is a bar magnet which has two poles. One is the north pole, another one is the south pole. Okay, so the line joining the two poles, of the magnet is called magnetic axis. This line is called magnetic axis. The line joining the two poles is called magnetic axis, and the perpendicular to this magnetic axis, and passing through the midpoint of the this bar magnet, we call it as magnetic meridian. We call it as magnetic meridian. So line joining the two poles is called magnetic axis, and perpendicular to this magnetic axis we call it as magnetic meridian. Okay, now what is magnetic length? So consider bar magnet. So this is north pole and this one is south pole. So as I have said earlier, the two poles of the magnet are located near to the end of the magnet but not at the end of the magnet. They are located near to the end of the magnet but not located at the end of the end point of the magnet. So now the distance between the two poles of a magnet is called magnetic length. So the distance between two poles of the magnet is called magnetic length. So magnetic length is equal to 2L. And the geometric length of the magnet, so this is the geometric length of the magnet. The total length of the magnet, which is geometric length. Geometric length of the magnet is, let it say, capital L. So geometry length is always greater than the magnetic length of the magnet. Geometric length is always greater than the magnetic length of the magnet. So the relation between the magnetic length and the geometric length can be given by magnetic length magnetic length is equal to 5 by 6 times of geographical length or geometric length. Five by 6 times of geometric length. So from this expression also we came to know the geometric length is always greater than the magnetic length. What is meant by magnetic length? Which is nothing but the distance between the two poles. So if you consider, as this is a Mar magnet, so if you consider a magnet which is in U shape, so this is a magnet or semicircular shape. Semicircular shape. The two poles are, this one is North Pole and let it be the South Pole. And it the center with radius R. Therefore, what is meant by what is magnetic length? Magnetic length is equal to nothing but the distance between the two poles is 2r. What is geographic length? Geographic length is nothing but the total length of the pole, which is approximately equal to pi r. Which is approximately pi r, circumference of the semicircle, that is pi r. Okay, so this is the difference between geometric length and the magnetic length. So until now we came to know what is magnetic axis, magnetic meridian, and what is magnetic length and geometric length. So now let us study what is pole strength. Pole strength. Pole strength. Strength of the pole. Strength of the pole. So the strength of the pole is nothing but ability of the pole to attract or repel the another pole is known as pole strength. So pole strength is the ability of the pole to attract or repel the another pole or unmagnetized substance is called pole strength. The pole strength is denoted by letter M, small m. It is a scalar quantity. Pole strength is a scalar quantity. So if you came to know, if you consider a bar magnet which has two poles, north and the south pole. North pole and the south pole. So here the pole strength of the magnet at north pole can be denoted by M, and at the south pole we can denote it as minus M, and the magnetic length is 2L. Okay, it is denoted by small m. At north pole we can denote it as M, and at the south pole it is minus M. It is a scalar quantity. Scalar quantity. And the SI units. SI units are ampere meter. Ampere meter. SI units are ampere meter. And the dimensional formula. Dimensional formula is AL. AL, or it can be also written as, in terms of charge, L Q T power minus 1. L Q T power minus 1. So this is the pole strength, that is the ability of a pole to attract or repel the another pole or a unmagnetized substance. So what happens to the pole strength? So pole strength is denoted by M, and the magnetic length is 2L. So what happens to this pole strength and magnetic length when we cut the bar magnets, when we cut these magnets? So if we cut the magnet, consider a bar magnet like this, north pole and is south pole. Now if we cut the bar magnet along the magnetic axis into two parts, if we cut the bar magnet along the magnetic axis into two parts, then we will have a magnet like this, bar magnets, north pole, and this one is south pole, and another magnet, because it is cut into two pieces, this one is north pole and this is south pole. Then the new pole strength is m dash is equal to, here as it is cut into two parts, it is also divided into 2, m by 2, and the geometric length, that is 2l dash, is equal to, the geometric length remains constant, 2l. So from this, when we cut the magnetic axis when we cut the bar magnet along the magnetic axis, then the pole strength is also divided into which, how many number of parts to which the bar magnet is cut off. Similarly, if we consider a bar magnet with the north pole and south pole, and if we cut the bar magnet along the magnetic meridian, then it is cut into two parts which has both the poles, north pole and south pole. From here also north pole and south pole. Here the new pole strength of this two magnets is m dash is equal to m, it remains constant, where the magnetic length, new magnetic length 2l dash, as it cut into two parts along the magnetic meridian, so then it is divided by 2l by 2. So if we cut the bar magnet into n parts along the magnetic axis, then pole strength changes, pole strength decreases. Similarly, if you cut the bar magnet along the magnetic meridian or the vertical axis, then the magnetic length decreases. Okay, these are some properties of the bar magnet. So where we studied about what is meant by magnetic axis, what is magnetic meridian, and what is what is the magnetic length, what is the geometric length. So what is the relation between magnetic length and the geometric length. And next we came across what is meant by pole strength. Pole strength, either it is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity, and how it is denoted. How it is denoted at the north pole and the south pole, and SI units, dimensional formula. Then what happens if we cut the bar magnet along the magnetic axis and along the magnetic meridian? What are the values of pole strength and the geometric length? Pole strength and the magnetic length. So now let us discuss what is magnetic dipole and magnetic dipole moment. So now next topic is what is magnetic dipole. Magnetic dipole. So from our previous chapter, that is charges and fields, we came across electric dipole. So what is meant by electric dipole? Two equal and opposite charges separated by a small distance constitute to form a electric dipole. Similarly, for a magnetic dipole, two magnetic poles of opposite nature and equal pole strength separated by a small distance is called a magnetic dipole. So two magnetic poles of opposite in nature. So generally we have a bar magnet which has two poles, north pole and a south pole. So these two poles are opposite in nature and have equal pole strength. Here is M and M. So here plus M and this is minus M, which are separated by a small distance 2L. So this is called magnetic dipole. Similarly, so from charges and fields chapter, in electrical dipole, we have two charges, equal and opposite charges. Here also two poles, equal and opposite in nature, equal in strength. M and M, pole strength are equal, but opposite in nature, separated by a small distance. This is called magnetic dipole. So in charges, we can have positive charge and negative charge separately, but in bar magnets, we cannot have north pole and south pole separately. They came across as one, which is called as a magnetic dipole. Now, what is magnetic dipole moment? Magnetic dipole moment. Magnetic dipole moment, similar to the electric dipole moment. What is electric dipole moment? Product of charge and distance of the separation between the two charges. Similarly, magnetic dipole moment is also defined as product of the pole strength of the pole and the separation between the two poles. So magnetic dipole moment, it is denoted by M. M is equal to, so the strength of the pole, either of the pole, that is M, into the distance between the two poles, that is 2L. M is equal to capital M, magnetic dipole moment, capital M is equal to small m into 2L. So magnetic dipole moment, it is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity. So where we can write m bar is equal to m into 2L bar. M bar is equal to m into 2L bar. As it is a vector quantity, its direction is from south pole to north pole. The direction of the magnetic moment of a bar magnet, or the magnetic dipole moment of a bar magnet, is from south pole to north pole. Consider this is the south pole and this as the north pole. The direction of the magnetic dipole moment, capital M bar, is from south pole to north pole. Sorry, it may not be visible. So it has a south pole and north pole. The direction of the magnetic dipole moment is from south pole to north pole. Okay, it is in the direction of the length vector, that is from south pole to north pole. Similarly, and the SI units of this magnetic dipole moment, SI units. So from the formula of magnetic dipole moment, that is the multiplication of pole strength into distance between the two poles, that is the magnetic length. So the units of pole strength is ampere meter into the distance of the magnetic length. So magnetic length units are meters. So SI units are ampere meter square. So the dimensional formula is AL square. AL square. So from this we came to know what is meant by magnetic dipole and what is meant by magnetic dipole moment. So magnetic dipole moment, formula for the magnetic dipole moment is m into 2L, which is similar to electric dipole moment. Electric dipole moment. Electric dipole moment, which is denoted by P. P is equal to charge into Q into distance between them 2A. P is equal to Q into 2A. Similarly here, magnetic dipole moment is, instead of charge, it is here a pole, has a pole strength. So M into separation between the two poles is 2L. So M into 2L. So next, so let us go into some objective point of view. So that is variation of magnetic moment due to the cutting or bending of the magnets. So what is the magnetic moment, the value of the magnetic moment when we cut the bar magnet into number of pieces or by bending the magnet? What is the value of the magnetic dipole moment? So let us see from the basic cases. So if consider a bar magnet which has two poles, that is north pole and the south pole. If we cut this bar magnet into n pieces along magnetic axis, that is in this way. If we cut the bar magnet into n pieces along the magnetic axis, then what happens? So from earlier study, what is the magnetic moment, magnetic dipole moment? Formula for the magnetic dipole moment: m is equal to small m, that is the pole strength of the magnet into distance between them, right? Now if we cut this bar magnet into n number of pieces, then a new magnetic moment is generated. So for that, the new magnetic dipole moment m dash is equal to new pole strength into new geometric length. So to calculate the what is the value of the magnetic dipole moment after we cut the magnet, so let us find the what is the pole strength and what is the value of the geometric length. So if we cut the bar magnet along the magnetic axis, then the value of pole strength, as we discussed earlier, m dash is equal to previous pole strength m divided by how many number of pieces it is cut? N. So m by n. As it is cut along the magnetic axis, the magnetic length of the bar magnet remains same. So 2n. Therefore, the new magnetic dipole moment m dash is equal to m by n into 2l. That is equal to m into 2l is nothing but capital M. So m dash is equal to capital M by n. So if a bar magnet is cut into n pieces along the magnetic axis, then the new magnetic dipole moment for each magnet is m by n times 1 by n times the magnetic moment of the total bar magnet, right? Next one, if we cut the bar magnet into n pieces along vertical axis or magnetic meridian or along the magnetic meridian or vertical axis, let's simply say it as vertical axis. So consider a bar magnet which has north pole and south pole. If we cut the bar magnet into n pieces along the vertical axis, then the new pole strength is given by m dash is equal to, so from our previous discussion, m dash is equal to m, because the pole strength does not changes if it is cut into along the vertical axis, but the magnetic length changes. 2l dash is equal to 2l by, as it is cut into n pieces, 2l by n. Therefore new magnetic moment m dash is equal to m into 2l dash, that is nothing but 2l by n. M into 2l is capital M, so capital M by n. Therefore when we cut the bar magnet into n pieces along the vertical axis, then the new magnetic moment for the each piece of the magnet is 1 by n times the magnetic moment of the total magnet, right? So now if we cut the magnet into x pieces along the magnetic axis and y, if we cut into y pieces along the vertical axis, then so if we cut the bar magnet into x pieces along horizontal and y times along vertical, equal pieces. Here we cut them into equal pieces. Then that means we consider bar magnet which has north pole, south pole. So along the horizontal axis it is x times, and along the vertical axis it is y times. Therefore, new pole strength is equal to, as it is cut into x pieces along the horizontal axis or the magnetic axis, m dash is equal to m by x. Along the vertical axis, it changes the magnetic length. So, new magnetic length is equal to 2L by, along the vertical axis, it cut into y times, so 2L by y. Therefore, new magnetic moment is equal to pole strength into magnetic length, that is m by x into 2L by y. Therefore, m dash is equal to m into 2L means nothing but magnetic moment of the initial bar magnet divided by xy. Okay, so these three are the general cases. These three are the general cases. So which we came across the some problematic point of view problems in objective point of view. Oh, if a bar magnet is cut, either, so from these three cases we can solve the problem if the bar magnet is cut along the horizontal axis, along the vertical axis, or both, as shown here. Okay.